if you've been raised in an environment of scarcity in survival, you might have been raised in a broken home, you might have been raised with a single mother, not having a father figure, or not enough money, so you've always seen kind of lack of income in your household, a comparison to if you had abundance, then unfortunately you need to do some undoing. And the reason I say that is because if you've been exposed to like a scarcity lifestyle or scarcity environment, again, where there's not a lot of money in your environment, in your home, what tends to happen, or what should I say, or what ends up happening is you start to then you end up growing and going into adulthood with that same type of frequency and that same type of mindset. Comparison to somebody who may not have had that kind of uncomfortable environment. Maybe they've got stable two parents in the household, there's money, maybe they've never seen their parents argue over money, have seen the lack of it. They've not got that kind of negative relationship with money, or the attitude towards maybe money being hard to get, or the lack of it in the household, if that makes sense. I'm trying to kind of paint a picture. My point is, if you have grown up in that environment, you may be continuously walking into life, into adulthood with that same attitude, and that's probably why you've probably working so hard and you're wondering why your income hasn't changed, or why you find yourself always kind of in this loop of just getting by. And the reason is because that's what you're used to. That's the frequency you're on. You've seen it growing up, and a lot of the things that you've seen as a young age ends up, getting embedded into your subconscious mind. And it starts to just basically, it gets embedded into your character, your outlook, your mindset, your identity, basically. And only until you are aware of it, you can start unlearning those, what's the word? It's not you have to start unlearning that kind of like mindset or outlook on life, basically. And you've got to change your mindset to scarcity to abundance. And it can be hard when you've been in an environment for so long, and especially if you've had traumatic experiences. You might have been made homeless, for example. I've been made homeless. There might have been lack of money. You might have seen arguments with money. You might have separated families. And the bigger the event, the more traumatic it is, and the more traumatic it is, the more it is embedded in your subconscious mind, and the more it ends up implementing fear and a scarcity kind of mindset. And before you know it, you're bloody like me, for example, in your 30s, and you're constantly just working just to get by. You're scared to not be in work, to be out of work because of lack of money, or seeing how lack of money ends up affecting your life. So then your attitude ends up being with money like, I need it. If I don't have it, this will happen again. Do you know what I mean? You don't realize that you start acting on fear and with scarcity and with lack. But I get it. You've only experienced that, or that's been your relationship with money. So you wouldn't know any different, right? And I'm just trying to share this example because you may be kind of running on that kind of frequency and not be aware that the reason you're not progressing is because of that frequency that you're running on, like that attitude and that outlook on money, and you continuously having that outlook on it because of past experiences when you were younger, and you don't realize that you've just been kind of like walking with that energy. So first of all, we need to be aware of it, innit? And understand that our upbringing or what we've been through doesn't dictate who we are today. And those limited beliefs of like having to struggle to get by, or not being able to be successful, or people think that money is evil, or that, you know, money is hard to get. It's all a limited belief, and that's just based on you growing up seeing that. You've now created this idea that I just have to work to get by, just to pay my bills, or I'm just have to survive because my mum was surviving, my dad was surviving, my family's surviving, so, you know, nobody else has kind of broken that, you know, that generational curse. So most people just end up putting their hands up and accepting it and being like, you know what, this is it. But the thing is, no, it ain't it. Like, we have to literally break it. And it's hard because, you know, a lot of it can be passed down by your parents, your teachers, anyone. It could be all types of people. And we don't realize how much our environment impacts us. And that's why it's important sometimes to even remove yourself from that environment, or from people that might have passed on their belief system on you, to grow. You know what I mean? And it may be lonely, it may be difficult, but it's necessary. You have to start, you know, challenging and questioning your beliefs, and basically, you know, removing them, innit? And just telling yourself and reminding yourself that, listen, like, this is not my default system, you know what I mean? This is not my default mode. Like, this doesn't need to carry on. Like, there's loads of opportunities out there. There's abundance all around us, and it's just a matter of slowly introducing wins into our life to remind us that we can accomplish anything we want, that it's not that the story or the idea that we tell ourselves is not true. It's not just because you saw lack of money or struggle in your household means that is going to continuously happen to you. It can do, and it will carry on doing it if you don't wake up and realize that it's just a pattern and you're just on autopilot, and it's just because of what you've been, you know, exposed to. However, now at your grown age, you can shake it off and realize that anything you put your mind to, you can succeed in it. And that abundance is everywhere. And that it is whatever you set your mind to, if it's learning a new skill, if it's building a new business, you are able to do that. It's all about, first of all, believing that you can, and believing that, you know, success can happen to someone like you, and that abundance is around you. Because really, the abundance is everywhere. Abundance is everywhere, but our frequency or our mindset or outlook on life will dictate what actions we take. So if we don't believe it, we're never gonna take that action. If we don't have the identity of someone full of abundance and believes that that success is everywhere and abundance is everywhere, then we're not even gonna try to take that action. So first of all, you need to believe and tell yourself and let go of that old version of you, let go of that younger version of you, and accept that, listen, that's not who I am. That is not my identity. I am someone full of abundance. I can achieve anything in this world. There's no difference between me and another person. Best thing I can advise you to do is to just slowly take action towards your goals. Slowly take action towards your goals, and I promise you, you're gonna see a win. And all it takes is a little win. That one little win is gonna give you evidence, and that evidence is gonna build confidence. And then that other win, and that other one, and you're going to build confidence, and you're going to realize, actually, I can achieve these things I set my mind to. The abundance is everywhere. I'll give you an example. With the last dropshipping store, right? First time I ever made decent money online. It wasn't the whole period wasn't the best. But there was one day, and I spoke about it on my channel, and I will never let it go. It was a day I made about £1,200 profit in a day. I made £1,200 in a day. Yes, I didn't do it every single day, but I did it. You know, I was drop shipping products, and someone, you know, ordered a large amount, I think I did about like 2.5 grand in products in one day, and I had about a £1,200 profit margin in one day on the internet, and it was from a buyer all the way in Canada. I would never let go of that until then. I would never, even from now, I will always hold on to that win. It's just one win, but hold on to that forever. Because if I can make £1,200 profit a day in one day, why can't I replicate it? It's not a one-off. I can do it. I've proven myself I can make £1,200 on the internet using e-commerce, dropshipping. I hold on to that, and you can see it. I will never let that go. But I had to be exposed to that win. Since I exposed that win, I know I will never stop until that becomes the norm. And that's all it takes. Those goals or those high aspirations we have now are going to feel so normal once you achieve them. It'll be 1k a day profit, 2k a day, 5k, 10k. Then 10k a profit will be normal. Then 30k will be more normal, and you get it. But it all starts with that little win, that evidence. There's no way. It was only until I kept on making those actions and I finally got that first win, I broke that removed the limited belief. The belief that you can't make money online, or it's a scam. People used to say dropshipping is a scam, or you can't make money online, or you have to work. You have to exchange your time for money. Mate, I made £1,200 profit in a day. I can do it. It exists. It happened. You know what I mean? It's real. It is real. My people, the phone overheated because of the sun. Or was it all that fire I was dropping? Anyways, my point is, people, some people think that their confidence is going to come out of nowhere. You need to take action. The more action you take, the more evidence you're going to get. So essentially, you're going to take the action, you're going to get a little bit of evidence, and that's going to build some confidence. And the more evidence you get, the more confidence you're going to build, the more, you're going to remove that limited belief out of you. And that's how it works. You're not just going to suddenly eventually I'm going to believe in myself, or I'm going to believe these things are going to happen. You've got to take the action towards it. Find out yourself if it's real or not, right? But mate, I'm telling you, it's mad. Because even that was so long ago, but I've not let that go. And that is the beauty of evidence. Once you've been exposed to even if it's a little win, it just unlocks and removes that limiting beliefs. It just breaks the any idea, because we'll be going through life telling ourselves the maddest story that does not exist. But you've told the story for so long, you believe it. You don't know any different, right? Like they're saying it, the only truth is the truth that you decide to be true, right? So it's like, mate, just remember, it's all about taking those little steps towards your goals, and the more you take it, the more confidence you're going to build.